The warrior narrows his eyes as he slowly pulls back the bowstring. A cold realization runs through his mind. To kill a serpent, you must cut off its head. Without hesitation, he releases the arrow. His gaze locks onto a single target hidden within the chaos of the battlefield. That one. The arrow shoots forward like lightning. At the same moment, the battlefield erupts. A devastating slash tears through the enemy soldiers, sending them flying from their horses. Cries of pain echo through the dust as their formation begins to crumble. Another powerful strike follows immediately. Steel cuts through the crowd of armored riders, throwing them into complete disarray. One rider raises his weapon to attack, but before he can even react, the arrow pierces straight through him. He chokes in shock, realizing far too late what just happened. The arrow continues its deadly path. More arrows rain down from above, slamming into the ground around the commanders like spears falling from the sky. The speed of the attack is almost impossible to follow. Watching from behind, a young soldier stares in disbelief. Incredible! So fast! Sweat runs down his face as he struggles to comprehend what he just witnessed. Meanwhile, the enemy cavalry continues their charge without a hint of doubt. Their leader raises his weapon confidently and shouts to his men, "Keep it up! The enemies are nothing but pigs to the slaughter." They believe victory is already theirs. But suddenly, the charging leader jerks violently. An arrow has struck him. He gasps as blood spills from the wound, his strength fading instantly. "The chief, sir!" Panic spreads through the cavalry in an instant. Horses rear up, soldiers lose control. The once fearless charge collapses into pure chaos. Cries of confusion and pain echo across the battlefield. The enemy's head has been cut off.
The battlefield descends into chaos. Horses rear violently as riders are thrown off balance. Soldiers crash into the ground, their weapons flying from their hands as dust and screams fill the air. Arrows continue tearing through the battlefield, striking riders one after another. Men are knocked from their saddles as panic spreads through the cavalry ranks. A soldier's terrified face twists in shock as the relentless attack cuts through their formation. But from the distance, a loud shout suddenly rises above the noise. "Don't give up! Our reinforcements are here!" Fresh troops surge forward, swords raised high as they charge into the battlefield with renewed determination. Their war cries echo through the smoke and dust as they rush to join the fight. The ground trembles under the weight of their advance. The enemy cavalry begins to slow, confusion spreading among them as they struggle to understand what is happening. Some riders glance around uneasily. Their voices tremble as they realize the situation is no longer in their favor. Then, a towering commander wearing thick fur armor stares forward with a shocked expression. Who is that monster shooting the arrows? Beside him, another officer wipes the sweat from his face. "He seems to be the one who got me when we lost the enemy's vice chief, sir." The commander's eyes narrow as he stares toward the battlefield. "Such incredible skill with the bow. I can't believe what I'm seeing." But the moment of shock doesn't last long. Another officer steps forward urgently. "Sir, this is no time to be impressed. We must have the cavalry fall back at once, and—" The realization is clear. If they don't retreat now, the entire cavalry force could be wiped out. The commander stares across the battlefield as the sound of collapsing morale spreads through his army. The battle is already over. Once the soldiers have lost their morale, there's nothing we can do. His jaw tightens as the reality sinks in. We have no way to rally them. Retreat! For a moment, he looks out at the battlefield in disbelief. How terrifying! A single archer deciding a war. Then he raises his hand and gives the final command. All men, retreat! Across the battlefield, horns echo through the air. Retreat! Fall back! The once fearless cavalry begins pulling away, their banners turning as the army withdraws. From the opposing side, soldiers erupt with cheers. Weapons are raised high as they shout in victory. On a nearby hill, the young soldier jumps excitedly beside the calm archer. "Hyungnim, the enemies are retreating! We won!" The archer simply stands there quietly, bow still in hand. After a moment, he turns away. "Let's go, Masad." Soon after, the victorious army returns to their camp. Rows of tents fill the field as soldiers celebrate their hard-earned victory. Cups are raised high into the air. "We're celebrating our victory, so drink as much as your heart desires." Laughter spreads through the camp as warriors feast and drink. "Ha ha! Did you see those bastards panicking?" One soldier wipes his mouth with a grin. "I've never achieved such an exhilarating victory." The camp is still buzzing with celebration when the archer quietly walks through the tents, his expression calm and unreadable. Beside him, Mossad glances up, still amazed by what he witnessed on the battlefield. Suddenly, a young warrior comes sprinting toward them. "Hyungnim!" He skids to a stop, breathing heavily but grinning with excitement. "Yugyuk! You're alive!" The archer turns his head slightly, recognizing the voice. The young warrior beams with gratitude. "All thanks to you, Hyungnim!" He quickly gestures toward the command tents behind them. "This way, Hyungnim! My father and the generals are waiting for you." But the archer simply shakes his head. "Later, I'm a little tired right now." The young warrior pauses, surprised. Still, he can't help but say what everyone is thinking. "Still, you were the one who secured our victory." The archer begins walking away, stretching his arms slightly after the long battle. "I'll see you later. I'm really tired after shooting so many arrows." But before the moment can settle, a strange glow suddenly lights up the sky. The clouds burn red as flames begin spreading across the distant battlefield. The archer and Mossad both stop and stare. Then, explosions erupt across the plains. Fire races through the camps and soldiers as chaos spreads instantly. Screams echo through the smoke. "Ah! Don't run!" Flames roar as terrified soldiers scatter in every direction, horses bucking wildly through the inferno. What should have been a moment of victory suddenly turns into a nightmare.
Screams echo through the burning village as chaos spreads everywhere. Soldiers ride through the smoke, dragging helpless villagers behind them. One man cries out in agony as he's struck down, while others are chased across the flames. Watching the scene unfold, the archer's expression hardens. Who the hell are they? Mossad stares at the burning village and answers quietly. They are the Yauku tribe's soldiers. The archer clenches his jaw as the fires rage behind him. What? Why are they burning a village and capturing its people when they've already won the battle? Mossad hesitates before replying. It seems there was someone who helped the Bai-He tribe among them. The archer's eyes narrow. Then they should only get that person. Why are they capturing all the other innocent people? Mossad looks uneasy as he realizes the truth. That's to sell them, or enslave them. The words hang heavily in the air. How cruel. The archer lowers his head slightly, his eyes darkening, as a red aura of anger slowly begins to rise around him. Meanwhile, the captured villagers are gathered together in rows. Men, women, and elders kneel helplessly on the ground as armed soldiers stand guard behind them. "Next person!" A soldier drags a bound prisoner forward and raises his blade without hesitation. For the villagers, the nightmare has only just begun.
The captured villagers kneel helplessly in the dirt as armed soldiers surround them. One terrified man is forced forward, his hands bound behind his back. A soldier raises his blade and declares coldly, "You helped the enemy, so you will be punished by death." The prisoner lowers his head, trembling, as the executioner lifts his sword high into the air. But just as the blade is about to fall, a powerful voice cuts through the camp. "Stop right there!" The soldier freezes. At the nearby feast table, several generals turn in surprise, their celebration suddenly interrupted. Through the crowd, a familiar figure walks forward. The archer. Mossad follows closely behind him. One of the commanders quickly spreads his arms in greeting. "Oh, welcome, Master Ulji." Another gestures eagerly. "This way, Hyungnim." The general smiles broadly, clearly pleased. "We managed to win, all thanks to you. I offer you my sincerest gratitude." But the archer doesn't smile. Instead, he raises his arm and points directly toward the bound villagers. The war is already over. His voice is calm but firm. "Please, let go of those people." For a moment, there is silence. Then the general suddenly bursts into loud laughter. "Ha ha ha! Your skill with the bow is monstrous, but you're very soft-hearted." He spreads his arms casually. "I understand how you feel, but there's nothing that can be done." He gestures toward the table. "Come, sit down and have a drink with us." The archer remains still. Slowly, he lowers his head and clasps his hands together. "I beseech you, free the people of this village." But before anyone can respond, a furious voice erupts nearby. "How dare you? Do you know who stands before you?" At that moment, the ground suddenly cracks with a violent impact. Dust explodes into the air as a powerful force slams down. The entire camp falls silent. The archer slowly turns his head, his expression dark and unreadable. He says nothing, but everyone can feel it. Something very dangerous is about to happen. The tense silence in the camp is suddenly shattered. A massive warrior in red armor steps forward, pointing angrily at the archer. "Your achievements today don't pardon such immodesty. Leave at once." The air grows heavy as everyone turns to watch the confrontation. One of the generals quickly tries to calm the situation. "General Lee, please, this is a time of celebration." But the red-armored warrior refuses to back down. "With all due respect, Chief, what he's doing is an act of disrespect." His face twists with fury as he points directly at the archer. "Bastard! Don't get cocky with your unremarkable archery." Nearby, the young warrior quickly speaks up in defense. "General, Su-moon Hyung-nim is the one who secured our victory today." But the enraged vice chief cuts him off immediately. "Stay out of this, Chief." He slams a fist against his chest and roars. "To disrespect the chieftain means to disrespect all of the tribe." The archer remains completely calm, standing silently while the insults fly past him. ... Then the vice chief gives a brutal order. "Take him away, men!" At once, several soldiers step forward, surrounding the archer with their spears pointed toward him. But the archer doesn't move. He simply stands there as the soldiers close in. Suddenly, a furious shout erupts behind them. "Screw off!" At the same moment, the red-armored warrior draws his massive blade and swings it forward with confidence. "While you may be good with the bow, I'm good with the dagger." The weapon slices through the air, and the confrontation finally explodes into violence. The furious vice chief suddenly thrusts his arm forward. "Here, catch this!" A hidden blade shoots through the air, flying straight toward the archer. Across the camp, the generals watch in shock. "What? That fool!" But the archer doesn't move. He stands perfectly still, eyes cold and focused as the blade closes in. "Watch out!" The warning comes too late. Suddenly, Mosset leaps forward. The blade pierces into him with a sickening impact. Gah! The archer's eyes widen as Mosset collapses into his arms. "Mosset, keep it together!" He catches the young boy as his body goes limp. Mosset forces a weak smile, trying to stay conscious. "My body just moved on its own." His voice trembles as the strength leaves him. The archer's grip tightens in panic. "No, Mosset!" But Mosset's head falls against his chest. His breathing fades, and in that moment, the battlefield falls silent.
On the battlefield, amid the screams and clashing steel, Mossad lay on the ground. His breathing was weak. Blood slowly spread across his clothes. Yet he was smiling. "Young Nim, please don't look so sad." Tears welled in his eyes. "You look best when you're smiling." Moon's eyes trembled. "Fine, I got it. I'll smile, I promise. So don't die." But Mossad's fading voice returned one last time. "It has been a pleasure knowing you." His head slowly fell to the side. His body went limp. Moon froze. "Mossad!" He held the young soldier tightly, but it was too late. Something inside Moon snapped. A dark aura began rising from his body. His eyes burned with a terrifying red light. "How dare you?" He slowly stood up, blood dripping from the dagger in his hand. "Let's see you catch this." An enemy warrior charged toward him, but before the man could react, Moon vanished. In a single instant, he appeared above him. A crimson slash tore through the air. The enemy collapsed. Moon stood there like a demon. His glowing eyes stared across the battlefield. Cold, merciless. "Yaoko tribe, you're all dead."
Moon's grief finally exploded. Raising his blade to the sky, he roared, "Peerless triple unity blade! The third step! Endless blade!" A terrifying surge of crimson energy erupted from his body. Blades of energy shot outward in every direction, like a storm of death tearing across the battlefield. Soldiers froze of the destruction, like a demon born from grief. Behind him, a young warrior watched in horror. "Young Nim!" His hands trembled, but Moon didn't turn back. "Huh?" The young warrior collapsed to his knees. "Young Nim!" Moon's glowing red eyes slowly dimmed as he spoke quietly. "Guyuk." "Right." He turned slightly, his long hair swaying in the wind. "Thanks for everything. I'll never forget you, or Mossad." For a moment, silence covered the battlefield. Then Moon pulled the dagger from his hand and tossed it aside into the grass. Goodbye. The blade disappeared into the tall field. Behind him, Guyuk shouted desperately, "Young Nim, please don't forget me! I'll always be waiting for your return!" But Moon did not look back. He simply walked forward, leaving the battlefield behind. Later, as the wind moved through the tall wheat fields, Moon walked alone beneath the open sky. Quietly, he whispered to himself, "Mossad was a good kid. He should be in a better place now." And with that, he continued walking toward the distant mountains.
Days had passed since Moon last saw another person. The road stretched endlessly ahead of him. Tall wheat fields swayed on both sides, golden waves dancing with the wind. Moon walked quietly down the narrow path. Then he sighed. "It's kind of frustrating, not seeing a single person in 4 days." He rubbed his forehead slowly, his hair messy from the long journey. "I wonder what grandfather's up to." Then, a shadow passed across the ground. Moon lifted his head. Something was circling above him. Realization. A hawk, flying in wide circles across the sky. Moon's eyes widened. Ah! Ironblood! Excited reunion. The hawk immediately folded its wings and dove down toward him. Ironblood! Moon raised his arm high into the air, a rare smile appearing on his face, for the first time in days. The hawk landed smoothly on his arm, wings rustling softly. Ironblood, what happened? How'd you find me? Moon laughed lightly. The hawk stared back calmly, as if it had been searching for him all along. Moon tilted his head. How's Grandfa? He stopped mid-sentence. Wait, did something happen back home? The hawk shifted its weight, then slowly lifted one claw. Moon blinked. Huh? From the hawk's claw, a small folded letter dropped into Moon's hand. Moon stared at it for a moment, confused. Then he carefully unfolded the paper. Light comedic tone. The drawing appeared first. An old man, long beard, half-lidded eyes, looking extremely lazy. Moon's expression turned blank. Then he started reading. Ironblood's been looking rather sad, so I'm sending him to you. Don't get distracted and return home quickly. I can't be bothered to cook for myself. Come and make me food. Your grandfather. Soft amusement. Moon stared at the letter in silence. The wind gently rustled through the wheat fields. Then slowly, a small smile appeared on his face. Somehow, that ridiculous message made the long road ahead feel a little less lonely. Moon stared at the letter in his hands. His eyes slowly moved across the words. Then he exhaled. Ugh, of course. His shoulders dropped slightly. Even from far away, his grandfather still managed to bother him. The letter fluttered away in the wind. Moon lifted his arm. Ironblood. The hawk spread its wings. With a sharp cry, it rose into the open sky. Moon adjusted the strap of his pack. Let's go. Ironblood. And together, they headed toward the mountains. The road stretched endlessly ahead. Tall wheat fields swayed in the wind. Step after step, Moon walked alone. The mountains slowly grew closer, silent, ancient, covered in drifting mist. The forest greeted him with quiet shadows. Moist air clung to the trees. Mist slid between the trunks like wandering ghosts. Moon slowed his pace. His eyes scanned the forest carefully. Something felt off. Behind a large rock, Moon crouched low, his breathing steady, his bow already in his hand. Then, movement. Through the mist, a massive tiger stepped into view. Its muscles rolled beneath striped fur. Its golden eyes moved slowly through the forest. A predator, patient, powerful. Moon didn't move, not even a breath too loud. He raised his bow. The bowstring slowly pulled back. A faint blue light gathered around the arrow. Energy hummed softly. Pee! The air vibrated around the tip. Moon's eyes sharpened, locked onto the tiger. The tiger suddenly stopped. Its ears twitched. Its body stiffened. It felt it. The killing intent. The tiger moved first. With terrifying speed, it lunged forward. The ground shattered beneath its claws. Leaves scattered everywhere. In a blink, the beast was already charging. Grrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrr claws stretched forward, a massive shadow falling from the sky. Moon did not panic. He didn't step back. His fingers simply released the string. The arrow shot forward, a streak of blue light, cutting through the mist. The tiger descended, fangs ready to tear him apart. The glowing arrow raced upward, closer, closer. In the next heartbeat, hunter and beast would collide. Beijing, a city loud with life. Crowded streets, rows of tiled rooftops stretching into the distance, merchants shouting, carts rolling, lanterns swaying gently in the breeze. Another ordinary day in the capital, or at least, it was supposed to be. Then, something massive appeared in the middle of the street. A tiger, huge, muscles rippling beneath its striped fur. It walked straight down the road, calm, heavy steps echoing across the marketplace. Whoa! It's a tiger! People scattered in every direction. Merchants dropped their goods. Baskets spilled across the ground. Gah! Help! Children cried. Adults ran. Chaos spread through the street like wildfire. But something felt strange. One man stared carefully. That tiger walks like a human. And he was right, because beneath the tiger's massive body, someone was carrying it. Moon stepped forward from beneath the beast, the enormous tiger draped over his shoulders like a heavy cloak. Its lifeless body swayed with each step. The crowd froze, staring in disbelief. Then, suddenly, Moon slammed the tiger onto the ground. Dust scattered. He clapped his hands loudly. "Attention, please!" Clap, clap. "I have a fresh tiger." The crowd slowly gathered again, curiosity replacing fear. They surrounded the massive tiger lying on the street. Someone whispered, "Whoa, it's huge." Another man leans closer. He's trying to sell it. Moon crossed his arms confidently. It was killed just now, so it's still warm. The crowd murmured, eyes shining with interest. Then one man suddenly raised his hand. 10 gold coins. What do you say? Marketplace tension, excited murmurs. The crowd gathered closer around the tiger, eyes wide, hands already raising. 10 gold coins, a man shouted from the front, but another man immediately scoffed. Not a chance. Then he raised his hand higher. "I'll offer you 15. The bidding war begins. Suddenly, hands shot up everywhere. Then 20. Okay, 25. Voices overlapped. The crowd buzzed with excitement, and Moon just stood there smiling. He scratched the back of his head. "I did a bit of hunting just to cover my travel expenses, but this turned out better than I thought." A quiet chuckle escaped him. Experienced eyes arrived. Then an old man slowly stepped forward, his robes rich, his eyes sharp with experience. He knelt beside the tiger's massive body, carefully inspecting it. "Let me see." His fingers gently touched the fur. "It only has a small hole in its forehead, so it's perfect for display." He slowly walked around the tiger, examining every part. Tiger bones are important ingredients in making herbal medicines, and there should be quite a lot from such a big tiger. The crowd listened closely. The old man crouched beside the paw. These claws could be sold as valuable accessories. Then he tapped the thick muscle of the tiger's body, and its meat will be sold at a higher price than any other meat. The old man stood up. He turned toward Moon, a small smile forming on his lips. 200 gold coins. What do you say? Moon froze. His eyes widened. 200? He slapped his hand over his mouth, completely speechless. Moments later, a heavy pouch dropped into his hands. Gold coins, stacks of them. Moon stared down at the money, his brain struggling to process it. 200 gold coins for one tiger? Beijing bustled beneath the morning sun. Roofs stretched across the city like waves of gray stone. Merchants shouted. Carts rattled over the roads. And above it all, Ironblood circled lazily through the sky, watching, waiting. Moon walked calmly through the crowded street. The tiger was already sold. The gold was already in his pouch. And now there was only one thing left to do: eat. His steps slowed. A large building stood ahead. Elegant wooden pillars, decorated walls. A sign hung proudly above the entrance: Man in Lieu. Moon looked up at it silently, then stepped forward. The moment he reached the entrance, 2 attendants bowed, but the moment they looked at him properly, their expressions changed. One of them frowned. "This place isn't for the likes of you. Go away." He waved his hand dismissively, trying to shoo Moon off like a stray dog. Moon didn't argue, didn't complain. He simply reached into his pouch. Then, flick. A single coin spun through the air. Gold, bright, heavy. The attendant's eyes widened instantly. "Whoa, a gold coin?" The man leapt forward, literally diving through the air to catch it. Smack. He clutched the coin with both hands like it was treasure, then immediately bowed so low his forehead nearly touched the floor. "Welcome, sir. How may I help you?" The attendant straightened quickly, sweat on his forehead, voice suddenly respectful. "Our establishment serves drinks enjoyed by the noble Joseon's elites, as well as beverages favored by the Seimu people." He bowed again, even lower this time. "We also pride ourselves on having the best food in Beijing." Moon simply stood there, quiet, expression unchanged. Behind him, the attendant remained bent over so long his hat slowly slid off his head, but Moon didn't even notice. He was already looking inside, thinking about one thing: food. The attendant sprinted across the floor like his life depended on it. "1 gold coin is worth more than a year of my salary." His feet barely touched the ground, excitement burning in his eyes. "Allow me to show you to a good seat." Moon followed calmly. Inside, the restaurant was alive with movement. Servants rushing between tables, guests chatting loudly, the scent of rich food filling the air. "This way, sir." The attendant led him deeper into the hall, past rows of tables, past busy kitchens, until they reached a quiet spot, a clean table waiting. Moments later, the table was covered, plate after plate after plate. Roasted duck, fresh vegetables, steaming dishes of meat, soup, tea, a feast large enough for several people. The attendant bowed proudly. "This green bamboo leaf liquor has been fermented for over a decade. It is the pride of Man in Lieu." Then he gestured toward the table. "And this duck dish is the pride of Beijing." Moon nodded once, then immediately grabbed a drumstick. Crunch. He took a bite, slowly chewing, eyes calm, completely focused on the food. Then he spoke between bites. "Hey, I need a set of clothes to wear." The attendant's eyes lit up instantly. "Yes, I'll bring you a great-looking pair at once." He leaned closer, whispering excitedly. "Nowadays, a white outer robe with a black dress is in fashion. That's what warriors wear." Moon swallowed another bite. "Okay, sounds good." The attendant nearly exploded with energy. "I'll be back soon." Then he dashed away across the hall, feet pounding against the floor, leaving Moon alone with the mountain of food and a quiet moment of peace. The attendant had barely made it a few steps when Moon suddenly spoke. "Wait." The man skidded across the carpet, nearly falling over his own feet. "You'll need money for the clothes," Moon said calmly. The attendant blinked in surprise. "Excuse me?" Moon turned slightly. "What you gave me earlier was more than enough." Moon reached into his pouch. Another coin flicked into the air. "That was for your labor." The coin spun, glinting in the light. The attendant's eyes exploded with excitement. Exclamation point. He grabbed the coin midair, then immediately bowed so hard his forehead nearly hit the floor. "Thank you very much, sir." The moment he stepped outside, he raised his fist into the sky. "I've really hit the jackpot today." People on the street stared at him strangely, but he didn't care, not one bit. Moments later, he returned at full speed, sliding to a stop in front of Moon. In his hands, a carefully wrapped bundle. "Sir, these clothes are made from the finest silk." Moon glanced at the bundle, then nodded once. "Thanks." He placed it beside him, not even opening it yet. Instead, Moon picked up the liquor bottle. Clear bamboo leaf wine poured slowly into the cup. He raised it to his lips. The warm taste spread through his chest. Then Moon spoke quietly. "Is Sichuan far from here?" The attendant tilted his head slightly. "Sichuan?" Then he nodded slowly. "Yes, the road there is known to be long and harsh." He leaned a little closer. "It's especially difficult for those going for the first time. For someone traveling alone, it can be quite dangerous." But then, curiosity. The attendant scratched his head. "But even though it's far, there are people who go there frequently, as if it's just a neighboring village." Moon paused mid-bite, then looked up. "Who?" Revealing the answer, the attendant straightened proudly. "There's an organization made up of people like that. They're called the escort agency." He gestured around the busy hall. "Those people travel everywhere in Zongyuan, no matter how far, no matter how dangerous." Moon stayed quiet, listening. Curious suspicion. The attendant suddenly squinted at him. "Might you be trained in martial arts, sir?" Moon calmly lifted his cup, took another sip. "Enough to protect myself." Excited solution. The attendant's face immediately lit up. "Then your problem is solved. You should join the escort agency. All your travel expenses would be covered, and you'd get paid while traveling." Observational tone. Moon slowly looked around the restaurant. Across the hall, several groups of men sat together, their clothes plain, but their posture steady, weapons resting nearby. The kind of people who spent their lives on dangerous roads. Realization. Most people here, the attendant whispered, probably intend to become wagoners for the agency. The room suddenly felt different. Not just a restaurant, but a gathering place for warriors, travelers, and men chasing dangerous roads. The next day, Moon stepped back into the streets of Beijing. But this time, he looked different. Clean clothes, dark blue robes flowing behind him. The hunter from the mountains now looked like a wandering warrior. He walked slowly through the crowded market, eyes scanning every street. 1,000-mile escort agency. Was it this way? He turned his head left, then right. Moon stopped in the middle of the road, looking around again. Was it right from here or left? The crowd continued moving around him, unbothered, unaware. Moon scratched his head. "Man, I'm lost." Thinking. He covered his mouth with his hand, trying to remember the directions. The noisy marketplace faded around him, his thoughts replaying the instructions, step by step. Above the busy street, wings cut through the air. Iron blood glided down from the sky, sharp eyes watching his master. Then, flutter, the hawk landed smoothly on Moon's arm. Careful explanation. Moon raised his finger, repeating the directions out loud. The boy from Manhwa said, "If I go straight on the big road and turn left, there'll be a market. Then I turn right from there and keep going until I see a white tower. Then I should turn left." Checking his partner. Moon looked at the hawk. "You got it?" The bird tilted its head. Crack. Crack. Mission accepted. Moon nodded once. Good. Then he lifted his arm. The hawk spread its wings. Whoosh! It launched into the sky. Journey continues. Moon watched Ironblood fly ahead, guiding the way. Then he stepped forward again, following the hawk through the crowded streets, toward the place where his next journey would begin. At last, Moon stopped walking. Before him stood a massive wooden gate, tall pillars, carved beams, and above it, a sign. 1,000-mile escort agency. Moon looked up at it quietly, then nodded to himself. Looks like I made it. Above him, wings circled once in the sky. Ironblood. Moon raised his arm and smiled slightly. Thanks, Ironblood. The hawk cried back. Caw! Then soared higher into the clouds. Moon stepped inside the agency courtyard. Carts stood lined in rows. Men carried cargo across the yard. Warriors sharpened weapons nearby. The place buzzed with movement. A place built for long roads and dangerous journeys. Hey, you! A voice called out. Moon stopped, turning his head slightly. Where are you going? Moon didn't hesitate. I've come for a job. He casually pointed toward the building behind the man. The clerk looked at him, then sighed. The recruitment for wagoners is already over. Come back next time. Moon blinked. What? He stepped closer to the desk. I came from a place very far away. I can't just go back without anything. The clerk barely reacted, then shrugged. Then you should have come earlier. Moon's shoulders sagged slightly. His face twisted with frustration. After all that walking, all that trouble, he was too late. When will the next recruitment take place? The young warrior finally gathers the courage and approaches the escort agency. This place is where his dream begins. But the worker shakes his head. They aren't recruiting yet, not until more escort missions arrive. For a moment, the young man stands there silently. His chance seems to slip away before it even begins. But he refuses to leave. Instead, he bows his head. If that's the case, please let me help with odd jobs until then. His voice is firm, respectful, but filled with quiet determination. The worker studies him. Then suddenly, whoosh! The young man swings his arm with explosive speed. The air itself ripples from the motion. The old man's eyes widen slightly, and then he bursts into laughter. You really want to work here that badly, huh? The young warrior clenches his fist. His gaze sharpens. Yes, it's my dream to become a warden of the 1,000-mile escort agency. Those words carry weight, not arrogance, not pride, just pure determination. The worker strokes his chin, thinking. Then finally, he makes an offer. Well then, do you want to try working as a handyman? Handyman. Not a martial artist, not an escort, just someone who carries supplies, cleans equipment, and pushes a wheelbarrow. When the young warrior hears the word, his face freezes. Handyman? The worker tilts his head. Why? You don't want to? For a moment, the young man panics. This might be his only chance. He quickly bows again. No, I'll do anything to the best of my ability. Even if the job is small, even if the work is humble, this is still a step forward, and he refuses to let the opportunity slip away. Above them, sunlight pours down over the gates of the escort agency. A humble beginning, but every legend starts somewhere, and for this young warrior, his journey has finally begun. Morning light spills across the escort agency. Carts line up one after another. Horses stomp the ground, and merchants rush to prepare for departure. Another escort journey is about to begin. Among the workers, the young warrior moves quickly. lifting heavy crates, stacking them one by one, without hesitation, without complaint. Even the other worker stopped to stare. His strength is far beyond that of an ordinary handyman. One of the workers walks over impressed. "You're very strong. How long have you been working here?" The young man wipes the sweat from his face and answers with a grin. 2 months, sir." The man nods, then asks another question. "How many journeys have you joined?" The young warrior pulls the rope tight around the cargo. 9 in total. 9 escort trips. Even as just a handyman, he never misses a chance to travel. The worker notices something. A bow, always hanging by the young man's side, even though he's only a laborer. "I always see you with that bow. Do you want to become a warden that much?" The young warrior suddenly bursts into laughter. No, I only carry this around like a family heirloom." His voice is light, carefree, but the bow never leaves his side, not even for a moment. Soon after, the caravan finally departs. Dozens of carts roll forward, horses march in steady rhythm, and towering above them all, a massive mountain rises through the mist. The long journey has begun. Deep within the forest road, the wardens ride beside the caravan. One of them speaks firmly. "Warden So, the fate of the agency depends on this journey, so please be careful." But the man beside him simply smirks. "We've got over 30 experienced wardens. There's no need to worry." Their confidence echoes through the forest. Behind them, the caravan continues moving forward. Carts creak, horses breathe heavily, and sitting quietly among them, the young handyman watches the road ahead, silent, patient, because sometimes the most dangerous moments arrive when no one expects them. As the caravan pushes deeper into the forest, the wardens begin discussing the route ahead. One of them turns to the captain. "Captain, which path would be the safest and the fastest?" The question hangs in the air, because the decision they make now could decide the fate of the entire journey. The senior warden speaks calmly. "If we continue south for another half day, we'll reach Mount Chonglim. From there, the safest path leads through Hanam. But there's a problem. That route will take 4 full days. 4 days on the road. 4 days exposed to danger." The captain narrows his eyes. 4 days is too long. "We'll go through this path. It's the only way to arrive on time." His voice is firm. The decision is made. But another warden hesitates. There's a problem with that route. His expression darkens. It's called the Tiger's Mouth Den. The last escort team that passed through there ran into serious trouble. Still, the man quickly shrugs it off. "There are other bandit dens near Chongju, but they're small. If we avoid those and pass through Tiger's Mouth Den, we should be fine." At least, that's what he believes. The captain's eyes narrow slightly. Is that so? He doesn't look completely convinced, but the caravan is already moving forward. Soon, the mountains begin to close in. Towering cliffs rise like jagged teeth. Mist drifts through the narrow canyon. This place looks exactly like its name, the Tiger's Mouth, waiting to swallow anything that enters. The captain raises his voice. "Stay on guard. All wardens, be alert. This is Tiger's Mouth Den. Keep your eyes open." The atmosphere instantly tightens. Even the horses seem restless. The caravan rolls forward slowly. Cartwheels rattle against the stone road. Rattle, rattle. Every sound echoes through the canyon. One of the wardens tries to lighten the mood. "Hey, Songmyung, this journey will also be interesting, don't you think?" But the man beside him doesn't smile. Instead, he answers bluntly. "It's better that way. You talk like you want the bandits to show up." The forest grows quiet again, and somewhere beyond the cliffs, danger may already be watching. One of the wardens laughs loudly. Bandits? I'd actually appreciate it if they showed up. His grin widens. At the first sight of them, I'll cut their heads off. The other wardens chuckle. Their confidence echoes through the canyon. But someone else isn't laughing. The young handyman sitting on the wagon suddenly stiffens. His eyes narrow. Something feels wrong. Very wrong. His senses sharpen. Bloodlust. He can feel it. Not one, not two, but dozens, hidden deep within the forest. 30 feet away. No, at least 50 men. Twice the number of the escort wardens. This isn't a small group of bandits. This is an ambush. Before anyone else realizes, the captain suddenly raises his hand. Halt! The caravan instantly stops. The wardens turn their heads, confused. Then they hear it. Explosion. Chaos. Attack! Bandits burst from the forest like a tidal wave, weapons raised, axes, blades, clubs. Dozens of them rush forward with bloodthirsty screams. The ambush has begun. Protect the goods! A warden roars as he draws his sword. The escort riders charge forward. Horses thunder across the road. Steel flashes in the misty air. The battle begins. From the front of the bandits' army, a massive figure steps forward. A towering man wearing a leopard skin cloak. A brutal grin stretches across his face. Ha ha! So these are the wardens of the 1,000-mile escort agency? The captain rides forward calmly. Correct. We are members of the 1,000-mile. My name is Li Jin. The air between them grows heavy. 2 leaders, 2 forces, standing face to face. The giant bandit squints, then suddenly laughs. Ah, High Wind Blade Li Jin? So that's why I didn't recognize you at first. His grin becomes even more savage. I am the one who leads Tiger's Mouth Den, Geo Ryok Gun. And behind him, dozens of bandits tighten their grip on their weapons. The canyon is about to become a battlefield. The captain stares straight at the bandit leader. A man like that is not someone to underestimate. A man worthy of respect. His voice remains steady. So tell me, why have you blocked our path? The bandit leader bursts into laughter. Blocked your path? Ha ha, no, we're only here to greet you. Behind him, dozens of bandits laugh along. Their weapons glint under the forest light. The giant's bandit scratches the back of his head. You see, the rain from the other day destroyed all our fences. He sighs dramatically. So we're a little short on money. The meaning is obvious. This isn't a greeting. It's extortion. The captain slowly reaches into his sleeve. That must cost quite a lot to repair. A small ring of gold coins appears in his hand. The coins clink softly. Tingle, tingle. The bandit leader's eyes light up. Gold, exactly what he wanted. But the captain's gaze sharpens. Something is about to happen. Back at the wagon, the workers whisper nervously. Phew, they just charged in so suddenly. I thought there would be an all-out battle right away. Right? My heart is still pounding. The tension is unbearable, and everyone feels it. Suddenly, the young handyman's eyes widen. Wait, something is wrong, very wrong. Suddenly, the captain tosses the coin ring forward, but the moment it leaves his hands, he shouts a single command: Freeze! The bandit leader's expression changes instantly. His eyes widen, and the captain curses under his breath. Shit! Because in that very moment, the fragile balance between both sides has completely shattered.